Okay, we're live. Hi, everyone, and welcome to a new episode of the Security Breath podcast. I was away quite some time now, just around a month. So sorry for that. But we're back, and today with me there's Kevin. Hi, Kevin. How are you?
Hi, how you doing? Doing well.
I'm cool. I'm cool. Thank you for being with me today. I'm very thankful because I was looking for starting to bring some people in the podcast that are a little more outside the not really outside the industry, but that can give another perspective, that have a different background, right? Because I really like to talk with various people that can give different contribution to the conversation, right? The more different and various can be the conversation, I think the more I can learn from it, and hopefully even the people that are listening can learn from it. So do you want maybe to have a little introduction of yourself?
Yeah, sure. Why not? You guys don't know me. My name is Kevin Apolinario. I go as on YouTube. I go as KevTech IT Support. You could find me on Instagram, same thing, KevTech IT Support. Twitter as KevTech IT Support. I'm a technical trainer, so I cover like help desk, system admin, desktop support, service desk. I cover resume writing, how to talk to hiring managers, how to talk to job recruiters. I guess how to market yourself in the job market if you're applying for jobs. I also teach like Active Directory, Office 365. So I do a little bit of everything. I cover a lot of different things. I actually was a public speaker for B-Sides New York. I spoke for Microsoft. I spoke for a company called Spiceworks, and a few other companies I spoke at. I was a speaker for a couple of companies, and I also work in I work at a cybersecurity company. But before that, I did IT support for several years. Like I'm talking about like executive, hedge fund, white glove support. This has to work, otherwise I'm gonna get mad at you. Like customer service. So like my customer service is extremely high because it's like you gotta know how to resolve the issue, and if the customer's not happy, obviously they're gonna get mad at you. So it's just like it's having empathy, and caring about the customer, and making sure that I guess communication is part of it too, like making sure they know what's going on, because you don't want to just like
Mm.
fix something and they don't know what's going on. So I guess that's a little bit about me. I do have my own YouTube channel. Like I said, I do have my own Discord. I do have a bunch of people that follow me because I try to give back and I try to help people get into IT. Hopefully that answers your question.
Yeah, absolutely. By the way, I'm going to, you're watching this on Twitch maybe right now, but this video will be re-uploaded on YouTube as well. And I'm going to put, um, the links to Kevin's channel into the description. So if you are curious, just have a look at that. Okay. And by the way, I can somewhat relate because I have a background myself in system administration, and also a old tech support guy in some small companies some time ago now. So I definitely can relate some of what you said. So definitely helpful to see that's there's someone there that is helping the new guys, new folks entering the industry. And also, of course, this podcast is more on cybersecurity, but I definitely I always suggest people that are asking me that you know cybersecurity is just part of the IT industry. So if you want to start out there, maybe you should also consider it, other kind of positions like IT support and similar roles. So definitely, thank you for your work, Kevin.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Perfect. So again, if you're watching this for the first time, the format is very simple. I just collected a bunch of security news from the last week around, and I'm going to share my screen right now with those articles, so we can have a brief chat with Kevin and see where the discussion goes. Okay, so here we go. Just give me a second. Oop. Okay, so everyone should be able to see my screen. And yeah, this is the first article. So I'm going to have a very quick introduction about this. So in any of the articles I've collected, there's something that I found interesting, right? And especially interesting if you can discuss with someone about it. So the first one is this article talking about a malicious campaign that is running recently, and it is interesting because this threat actor is basically using some fake LinkedIn post accounts and so on to reach out to people that are looking for maybe a social media manager position. Okay, so this is not something that we see really that often, right? It's very targeted, uh, targeting actually a kind of role that is not really, usually we see something like we target administrators or people that have high privileges in a company, so that threat actors can try to steal their credentials or something. This is a little different. And what is written in the article that you can see in here, but I'm also going to share the links in the description of the video if you want to check it out. Basically, the reason behind it is that the actors wants to potentially steal Facebook business accounts. So basically, the accounts that I use to run the Facebook advertisements. Okay, and that's because they are targeting social media managers, because if they are already doing that kind of job in a company, they potentially have access to a similar account, and they're maybe running Facebook advertisement for their company. And if the attackers can steal their accounts, they can then use that account to run what they call malvertising campaigns. So basically, using advertisement online to spread, phishing site, malware, and so on and so forth. So that you always know that advertisements are there, and they catch your clicks. They catch multiple user clicks, and it's very high probable that a lot of users are going to download files or to just click on the link because it's advertised on the platforms. um, so there are some details about the attack itself. Something like the targets are going to be asked to download some files that are faked as the job description of the role they're they are being searched for, or the salary, and stuff like that. So it's pretty interesting, to see how they are trying to trick people into downloading malwares. But what I want to talk is more, the overall tactic, right? So here we see attackers that are not targeting companies; they are targeting individual people, and especially individual people that are looking for a new job potentially, right? And we see, of course, Kevin, you see a lot of those people, but I also do that. There are so many people out there searching for a new job and using platforms as LinkedIn to talk with people, to reach out to people, and they are always willing to trust the person on the other side of the chat, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know, what are your thoughts about this? Have you ever think about something like this?
Yeah. So one of my I guess someone that I know that's on Discord.
Mm-hmm.
He got a random message on LinkedIn saying that, yeah, we're hiring for this job, and basically he's rolling back and forth with this person, and then they didn't even do a job interview. It was weird. It was really strange, to be honest with you.
Hmm.
They didn't do a job interview at all, and it's like, oh yeah, you got hired, you got the job. So I'm like, he's like, yeah, he's like, I finally got a job in IT. And I'm like, no, that's not. And I'm like responding to this person. I'm like, that's not real. He's like, what do you mean? He didn't even interview you. He didn't even interview. He didn't even, the person that you're talking to didn't even take the time to do like a video call or something, right? So like the person that you're talking to, we don't know if that person's real or not. Like it's just really bizarre that they didn't even take the time to do an interview and go on camera and do all this other stuff that normally you would like to know. is if when you're talking to someone, because we don't know if he's real or not. So um, their job ended up being fake. So they sometimes in social media, they will have people that are fake, and they'll just try to get your information, whether it's your social security number,
Mm.
whether it's your first and last name, whether it's getting more information about like I seen people go into LinkedIn and ask for like, yeah, we'll hire you. Can I get your bank account information? I
Sure.
need you to send me this amount of money, and then you could spend this amount of money to buy the computer or the laptop. That does happen in on LinkedIn. That's not. I mean, that's not out of the ordinary. I mean, I'm talking about my Discord because this happened in our Discord where basically you have random people on LinkedIn that we don't even know, and they're asking for your banking information. So that's just, I mean, that's just my experience. I'm not. People are really strange that way, but it's just, when it's fake, when it's real. Like it's simple to tell whether that person's real or not, or they're fake.
Mm.
But there are people that will fall for it. By the way, that's just common. That's just how it is. If you're desperate for a job, you will fall for it.
Yeah, yeah,
It's just how it
absolutely.
is. So
I was, we have similar conversation in multiple episodes of this podcast, where I'm always pushing on the fact that anyone can fall for any kind of scam, right? Of course, there will be people that are a little more focusing on what they are reading, and a little more, alerts can pop up in their head. But those kind of phishing attempts, or scams, or anything like that, those are trying to use your own biases, your own vulnerabilities as a human, right? So if in this case you're looking for a new job, maybe you don't have a job right now, and you need money, you are kind of in a difficult situation, you are definitely more vulnerable and willing to trust people that are promising them job positions, right? So I really never want to give or to say, oh, it's fault, or it's their fault that they clicked on the link, or it's their fault that they trusted something like this, because maybe they are not just into their best shape, or in the best situation to comprehend what they are reading, right? And yeah, this is definitely something interesting. I think I also received some fake messages on LinkedIn or something like that at some point. Most of the time I just drop them, because you receive so many messages. But it's so different when you are in the opposite position, right? So you are looking for a job, you are maybe writing messages to so many people in order to get interviews, get maybe also referrals, get also just suggestions on how to progress in your career search and everything. So it's just good to discuss about something like this, and to spread a little awareness that also something like this can happen, right? It really says a lot, and I think, again, this is one of the goals of this podcast of mine. Yeah, definitely, this can happen for any job position, probably, especially because if, like you said, attackers are targeting your bank account or social security number or something, anyone can be a target, for sure. What we can see in the uh, in the in the article, it's something a little more specific, with the specific people being targeted because they could have access to um, in this case, a Facebook business account. And I was also mentioning uh, possible situation where attackers are targeting administrators of current companies they are targeting, because if I can lure an administrator to download a malware in their laptop or computer, and I can steal their credentials. As the attacker, I suddenly got a privileged account into the company network, right? So this is actually very, very important. I'm not sure how a company can try to I don't know, teach or just make their users aware of what's happening. um, I don't know. I'm trying to do something very little here, but definitely should be a bigger, effort of companies as well, and people out there that are basically using the internet for so many things, right?
No, I 100% agree with you. So this is a conversation that I have all the time with the C-level folks, the executives, the IT directors, and the CISOs, and all the people that are executives. Because I actually join I actually joined the executive meetups. They have executive meetups here in New York where I live, and we talk about these conversations like um, it's really strict. And this has happened to me because of my work environment. That's directly to me for someone in the company that I worked at. And
Hmm.
basically, yeah, like you need to have some sort of social awareness training, some sort of cybersecurity training, because you have people that they email they actually go after the low hanging fruit. For example, like I'll give you a real life example. Like in my job, they had a CEO, and then the CEO has an admin assistant. Obviously, the target there is the admin assistant because the CEO is you could target the CEO, that's fine, but the admin assistant's right there. She's not gonna know about cybersecurity, so you basically go after her. And how did they do that? What did they do in my work environment? What they did was the person emailed her and pretended that they were the CEO, and they send her an email, and the domain is the same, right? When you go to the actual email, it looks like similar, but it's like an extra letter in there, right? So
Okay.
you kind of like you can't tell if it's real or not. But well, me, I could tell if it's real or not because I look at it. I'm attention to the detail, right? But her, she looks at it. She's like, "Oh, that's probably the CEO. I got to do what he's telling me to do." So, okay, can you please send me this information? Send me the information. Okay, can you please send me that? All right. Can you? I'm gonna send you a document, and that document is an executable file, so they have access to her computer. So she clicks on it, she opens it, and then next thing you know, like in 5 minutes, this person's already on her computer, and I don't know what's going on. And I get an alert. I get an alert on our end because we have all these alerts that pop up whenever something strange is going on, and I have to go to Active Directory, and I went into her account and I disabled her account, and then she can't log in at all. And then what I did was I took that computer off the network, and I literally we had a bunch of people come to her desk, and I'm like, yeah, so your computer is not working. She's like, why can't I log in? I'm like, well, we disabled your account, and it's like, why? It's like, no, because someone's on your computer right now, and I have to take it off the network because I don't know what's going on with your computer. So I literally took her computer, disabled her account. We changed her password. We had to sanitize that computer. Obviously, you have to sanitize the computer and make sure you get rid of whatever is in that computer. And then we gave her another computer after that. And it was a whole investigation because when you have an attack like that, like you want to find out what happened. You want to find out how to prevent it. You also want to find out how to sanitize it. You also want to find out how they came in, what kind of attack was it, and obviously those things are very important. So I had this conversation with her, and we gave her another computer. But then, like you said before, like the people that are that get targeted, unfortunately, are the people that are not educated in cybersecurity, and that does happen a lot. And that happened to me. That happened to a few of my other jobs as well. Like I'll give you one last example. In the same company, I was in charge of a phishing campaign. So
Hmm.
basically, what I do is my job was I send you a fake email, a fake Starbucks coffee email, and if you
Hmm.
click on it, you have to do cybersecurity training. So I sent everyone a bunch of Starbucks coffee emails, and the people that were there, like half of them clicked on it, and the other half didn't click on it. I'm like, all right, I got to do cybersecurity training with you guys because you guys can't be clicking on random stuff. Like it doesn't, to please like report it. Like if you have like Proofpoint, we have Proofpoint, right? You have Proofpoint, you have some sort of third-party tool on your email address that says report to cybersecurity, or you click on this and it reports to phishing, right? You just do that, report to phishing, whether it's a Starbucks coffee or not. And then rather we're not gonna get mad at you, right? Like if you send a report to cybersecurity, or you send a report to IT to see if it's phishing, we're not gonna get angry when I'm like, oh, why you send this? This is a real email. We're not gonna get mad at you. We're gonna look at it. We're gonna actually investigate it, and then we'll tell you if it's real or not. If it's real, then that's fine. Go for it. If it's not real, then obviously we're like, okay, yeah, this is not real. Thank you for letting us know that this is not real. We're gonna have to block that. We have to blacklist this on our domain, and we should be good to go after that. So those are the things I wanted to throw out there because it's happened to me in my work environment. So I have to let you know about that. So
Yeah, and it happens actually everywhere. You made your own experiences or your own stories, but it's really something that really happens everywhere. Especially you mentioned the um, you know fake phishing campaigns that are so common everywhere, right? I think it's the most common way to do security awareness in most companies, and there's so much talk about it, right? If that's the right way to do it, if there's anything better that we can do as an industry. I'm not sure, like I don't have the answer to that, but
mhm,
something I can say is that uh, you know the point is, okay, some people can be a little scared about reporting some kind of email because they don't want anyone to be aggressive to them because they did something. And companies have to communicate, right, that this is actually okay, and that it's actually something that could be, I don't know, rewarded or supported by the companies, right? Because it's everyone's job to basically make the company secure, right? You're part of the company, so you have your, as an employee, you have your little part to do, right? On the other end, and this is the other example you said before, when you as an employee receive an email that apparently is coming from your CEO, right? Even if there's something that you can catch on the domain or something, but it's from the CEO or someone important in the company, maybe that's already taking all of your attention, because it could be a very demanding request, or a very high important or very urgent thing that they are asking you to do, right? And you not really think too much about it, or you don't really look at all the details. They just say, oh, there, there comes the CEO is asking me something. It must be something very important, very urgent to do. So
mhm,
it's just the human brain that is not working in the best way when they are stressed, right? And that's definitely something that the attackers know, or at least the one that use some this kind of tricks. And they know that if they can put stress or urgency or other kind of this kind of tricks, they know that even if that person is actually looking into all the details, all the alarms they can see popping up into the email, if they craft the email so that it's really asking you to be urgent in the and quick in responding or do whatever it is asking you to do, then it's something that everyone can actually fall for it, even if they did the phishing campaign awareness course just the day before, right? So I don't know. I think it is important to do something like that, but still, it doesn't really fix the issue like totally, right? Um, and it's really crazy because I keep saying this in most of the episodes now. No matter how we progress, or no matter how much technology progress, or how many new tools we have in the industry to prevent attacks and everything, phishing and social engineering is still the best way attackers can do to get into company networks, right? Which is crazy. It's the most simple thing if you think about it, but still it's the more effective, right? So yeah, the last thing is, at least if you are an employee, you have your company that is trying to help you to make you aware or to train you into doing such things or looking at those details, right? But if you are on your own, like the example that we started with someone looking for a job, there's no one giving you security awareness courses or giving you fake phishing emails so that you can learn that the next time you should not click on it. So it's just on you. Like, no one is really teaching everyone. I don't know, maybe sometime we have governments doing some I don't know, advertisement on TV or something to spread awareness, but it's not really that common. It's not really that effective, I think, right? So that's just my thoughts that I throw there. So yeah.
Yeah, I 100% agree with you. It's just not it's very like people think that social engineering is not common, but like it happens every single day. It's not
Yeah.
like even not to change the topic, but even when you go and get a fake phone call, right? And someone pretends that they're Best Buy, and they call you and they tell you like, "Yeah, I'm here to fix your computer. Looks like you have a virus. Can I remote into your computer?" And then they get access to your computer, and then next thing you know, your computer has ransomware on it, and you can't really do anything. So, it does happen a lot in security. It does happen a lot with people that, I guess they actually attack more like the older folks, like I'm talking
Hmm.
about like 60 or higher that are not aware of social engineering or not aware of cybersecurity. So those people that are a lot older, they typically fall for those things, and
Yeah.
they're willing to pay the ransomware because they don't want their files to get encrypted. It does happen. So those are like little things that we need to be aware of, and there's a little things that like we need to educate more of the people that are I guess they want to learn cybersecurity. We need to educate everyone in cybersecurity because you don't want people just randomly clicking on stuff. It just happens. So
Yeah. Yeah, no, absolutely. And yeah, if probably every of us just do a little something to teach everyone, not just the employees or our company, to be aware and to have put attention in what you are reading or what you are clicking on, especially. Maybe we can do just a little improvement as as a group or as a society, community, or whatever you want to call it. So if you're okay, I think we can move to the next one.
yep.
Not because it wasn't interesting, but because we have a lot to talk about still. So and I think this is really interesting. This is very different in anything that I brought to the podcast so far, actually, and I'm really curious to see what we can take out of it. Right. So the article talks about this 22 years old guy that was actually sentenced to prison, right, for something that they were catched doing in the last few years. And this is something that, again, maybe we don't really connect between cybercrime or the internet or the digital world and what happens out there, in the streets, into our physical world. Basically, this guy was part of a gang or a group that um, they were basically selling online what here it is called violence as a service. We call everything as a service right now, and this is pretty interesting to see. Basically, they were selling this service where they accepted money to basically run physical damages to people or to houses of other people out there. And some examples here was something like breaking or basically throwing bricks at people windows, or throwing how do you call them, the molotov cocktails to do a lot of damage, actually, or even to shoot at people's houses. So something very, very dangerous and potentially harmful. And I know that it is written somewhere in the article that when the guy was catched, actually there was some people that were, of course, hurt in one of these things. So again, this is not really the classic, cyber attacks or cybercrime things we usually read about in the industry. But you see the connection. You see that this kind of request or offerings, I should say, were done in a Discord server, right? Or using Discord at all. So again, we know a lot of people that are using Discord, especially in the IT industry, in the cybersecurity industries. You mentioned that you have your own Discord, your own, right? So it's one of the platforms that so many people are using to to meet people, to learn something new, to train themselves in groups or something. And yet you can see and you can find stuff like this where they're not, only talking about malware or ransomwares that are already something that definitely are dangerous, and we should take care of. But even something, I don't know if we can say that this is worse. Maybe it is, right? But it's as bad as, or even worse than the usual thing we read about in the cybersecurity industry, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Would you call this still cybersecurity when we see this offered online? What do you think?
No, with me is like I did work for you guys watching this. If anyone watching this, I did work for the NYPD. So I
Mm,
worked for the NYPD auxiliary volunteer. We actually do arrest people. When I was I arrested a couple of people actually when I worked
mm,
for the police. And yeah, this is not normal behavior. So typically when you have someone do something like this, typically just to say just to I like to bring mental awareness to
mm,
IT. Typically, when someone does something like that, it's not normal. So, like, typically, something mentally is wrong with that person, and we need to bring them in, and they need mental help. So, like, someone to actually attack someone or throw a brick on a window or do something physical to someone or something, they have some sort of mental illness, and yeah, we have to you have to bring that person in and see what's wrong with that person. You don't know you don't know what's going on with them. So I know it's kind of not. But my answer is not cybersecurity related, but it's like
mm.
sometimes you have like mental illnesses, and you have people that need mental help, and they're not 100% there in the head. So when you have someone like that, it's just like you have to bring them in and see what's going on with their head. And they may need to go see a therapist or something like that. We don't know. So um, that's just my personal experience because I seen it happen a lot when I
Yeah.
worked for the police. And yeah, and then also like going back to like selling services, right? That's why we have like, and I'm gonna go back to cybersecurity. That's why we have the dark web, right? Remember the dark?
Mm,
Let's talk about the dark web a little bit. The dark web, people sell other people's information. The dark web, I seen someone in the dark web, like, and hopefully I don't get in trouble for saying this, but I see someone in the dark web, like, literally pay someone else for a hitman, for example, right? That's a real thing. That does exist. And I see someone in the dark web pay for someone's social security or someone's resume or whatever, like to steal all your information. So that's a real thing, and that happens a lot on social media. Like information is there. Some of like a lot of your information may be there. You don't know about it, and you just need to pay for it. You just need money to
mm.
pay for that information. It's actually there. Even my information is there. Like it may like I'm just letting you know. Like it's just you don't know how much information is out there, but actually there's a lot of information about you if you know how to if you know how to if you have the right amount of money or if you know how to get into that information. If that makes sense. So hopefully that answers your question.
Yeah, absolutely. Like you made me think about something, right? Mentioning the dark web and everything that you can actually potentially find in there, right? Most of the stuff, most of which are actually, um, let's say harmful, again, dangerous, or just illegal things that you can find. And I got to think about this, that in the cybersecurity industry, a lot of, especially the younger guys are attracted by this field because it really feels like what you have seen in movies or TV series, where this cool guy can do anything or get anything just using a computer, and it sounds very cool. All of these things you can do, breaching system servers or companies. And when you get to teach yourself this kind of cybersecurity related stuff, right? And a lot of us actually did that or still do that, in order to, again, enhance our careers, or just maybe trying to get our first position in the industry. And when you start, reading online, you get to know about the dark web, you get to know about this kind of things that you can actually find. And maybe you are on a first the first time you see, you are attracted to see, okay, I want to access, I want to see what's in there, I want to try to talk with some people in there and see what happens. I just took this conversation here because this can be dangerous, right? If you don't know what you're doing, if you don't know who you are talking with, right? It can be really dangerous. There's everything in there. There could be something that is not really harmful, like getting a bunch of email addresses and phone numbers. Okay, you can use those information to do something bad later, right? But there's also even worse. You can see something like this kind of violence as a service thing, where you think maybe it could be just a joke or something, but people can get really hurt, out there. And you took some, you got some examples where someone has some kind of problems, they want to do those kind of stuff themselves. But what if someone is actually accepting money to do the things on your behalf? That's even worse, right? That gets a lot of people who are not willing to do those kind of things on their own, the potentially to still do some things to third parties, to do the damages and everything. And the last thing is that, okay, yeah, definitely this happens every day and happens a lot in the dark web and everything. But in this specific case that was brought in the article, they are talking about Discord, they are talking about Telegram, that technically it's not even dark web. And this is interesting because at least it's just a little difficult to get into the darknet, or just to configure your own Tor client to access the Tor network or everything. I'm not saying it's impossible, or you have to have some kind of very difficult skills, but not everyone can definitely do that from on their own. But something like Discord, something like Telegram, that everyone is using nowadays from their mobile device, maybe you can just get to talk with the wrong person. And again, once again, I just think it's very important to be aware that those things are out there, right? We should always double check, or try to double check with who we are talking with. And if they are serious when they are offering this kind of stuff, let's not just joke about dropping molotovs at people's houses. So yeah, I just thought it's interesting. It's not really cybersecurity, as you said, like strictly speaking, right? But it's still what we see in the digital world, what we know, the same people, the same platforms, the same discussion we have every day, right? So yeah, I thought it was interesting.
I actually wanted to say one more thing. Just so you're aware, you probably don't know this. Maybe you do know this, but in on my Discord, like it was a weird issue, because on my Discord, like, I had someone pretending to be me. Not sure if you know
Okay.
that. So I had someone pretending to be me, and because I'm going back to this topic, right? What we're talking about in this article. So someone actually pretended to be me. They had my username, the same username, my same about me information, my same picture, everything about me, all the same. And then I'm getting like over 100 messages like, Kevin, is this you? Is this you? Is this you? I'm like, no, it's not me. So then I had to have like the moderators involved from Discord in order to ban this person. And we got rid of that person. But then they created another account, then they created like 5 different accounts. So it took me like a whole week just to ban this person, because they kept changing their IP address. So on Discord, that does happen. Just letting you
Yeah.
know. Yeah.
Yeah, not only on this one, I would say that Discord is pretty, I don't know, common or famous nowadays, right? Yeah, it's so many people are using that. Telegram as well, and it definitely happens a lot, especially if you have some following, right? Because this is basically identity theft, no? And the more people are following you, or just the more people are willing to listen to what you say, right? The more, of course, some attackers are going to be interested in specifically stealing your account. Now, everyone can get, again, target about these things. I had a bunch of friends as well, who are not really, let's say, who are not influencers, or they just not are content creators of any kind, but still they can find a way to monetize the fact that they are stealing your identity in some way. But yeah, definitely, I can understand why you could be a very a potential target of this kind of things, right? And they can happen on Discord, it can happen on Telegram, or any kind of social media you could use, even Instagram or LinkedIn as well, right? We see a lot of fake accounts on LinkedIn, and again, if you are a trusted person, right, and many people, maybe tens thousands of people are following you, and they are again willing to click on a link that you share because you are you, right? Someone maybe has an interest in stealing your account, or stealing, or just copying your account, because they can drop a link in there, and a lot of people are willing to, okay, let's click on a link because this is my friend Kevin doing this, so it's totally cool, right? Maybe there's something interesting in it, so maybe I should click on that. So yeah, always double check, always make sure why is that person asking you to click on a link. First thing that you should ask yourself. So yeah, I can relate that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's exactly what happened. They had a link and everything, and then we had to ban that account. That they were pretending to be me, pretty much. Yeah. So that does happen.
It's a work for them, right? They do it with very carefully, copying everything. So it's not easy to figure it out. But if someone actually wrote to you, "Is this you?" that means that there was something a little wrong, or there was something that they could notice. Maybe just the fact that there were two accounts, maybe it's already something that should pop up in your mind.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So again, I think it's good to go to the next one. And just before we do that, just a little reminder: if you are watching this at either live on Twitch, or maybe you are watching the recording on YouTube, or even the audio on Spotify, please consider that there's actually a lot of work behind this. And I thank you very much, Kevin, or all of the other guests that I had in the previous episode. So the only thing that I'm asking you is, please maybe consider clicking on that follow or subscribe button, because that just makes me know that someone wants to still see and watch this episode, and I should do more. So it's very, very important for me. So please, just hit that button. It's not that difficult. Great. So next article right here. This is probably the most classic cybersecurity news that we usually see day to day. Basically, it actually takes a lot of work to not to find the news, but to select the news and to try to find the most interesting one, right? And again, this is a classic one in the sense that there was how do you say that? Just a research from Kaspersky, where they were tracking a specific malware, right, called the StripedFly here. And there's a very specific detail that makes it very, very interesting to me. So the malware itself, it's not very new. It was first seen in 2017, and it was categorized pretty much as a crypto miner. So when we say crypto miner, basically, and if you know what cryptocurrency is, basically the attackers are trying to make you install this malware on your computer so they can use the power, the computational power of your own PC to mine cryptocurrency. Basically, just to make everyone understand, generate the cryptocurrency out of nowhere using your own computer. So if they can make maybe 1,000 different people installing that malware and mining that cryptocurrency, maybe they can do a little money out of it, right? This is usually something that mostly cybercrime is willing to do, because the reason behind it is mostly monetization, right? The more PC I infect, the more money I can make out of it. And that's it. That if you categorize a malware as a crypto miner, you are categorizing it as something, okay, let's say not very high end, but just some a bunch of kids that are trying to make some money out of infecting so many computers out there. Still very bad, right? But not the worst thing that you can find when we talk about malwares and cybersecurity. Now, it appears that recently, or at least in the last year, Kaspersky had seen this same malware infecting so many, devices out there, and mostly in, governments and state agencies and so on and so forth, which is a little interesting, let's say, for a crypto miner, because it was very, very targeted in some, government agencies and that kind of stuff. So they deep dive a little more into the malware, and find out that actually there were a lot of other hidden features in the malware itself. And the malware was actually very, very powerful in the sense that it could do a lot of things, like, again, stealing credentials, stealing information from your computer, or basically record, via the microphone, what you are saying and everything. It's basically a total different category of malware, something that you would call an info stealer or a spyware, something like that. And that puts the malware itself in a completely different light, right? This is something very, very, very dangerous, something that is targeting a totally different, group of people or organizations. And it's interesting to see how it could be an attempt to hide the real purpose of the malware itself. Now, this is just some sort of hypothesis, right? We don't know for sure what's the purpose behind it, and we probably never know. But it's not that common that you can see cryptocurrency mining feature in a info stealer, because those are two complete different purposes, right? So there should be a reason behind it. Maybe attackers just thought, okay, let's build everything, let's code everything we can, and then we can use the feature that we need at the time. But most of the time, you really need to put the effort where you're actually you are aiming for, right? So I don't know. There's a lot on it, but just let me know what are your thoughts.
No, I'm thinking about this in my head because this has happened to me again. So
That's okay. That's completely okay.
Oh my goodness. So basically I have a YouTube channel. Remember I talked about my YouTube channel earlier. So I had someone send a malware link pretending it was me again I don't know why people do this, but they pretend to be me again on YouTube. And it says, like, if you click this link, you're guaranteed to make X amount of dollars for mining for crypto coin currency, basically. So what happened is that I had a bunch of people message me on privately on LinkedIn and YouTube, and they messaged me on Discord too. Like, is that account your account? I'm like, that's not me. So someone had like the exact same name as me, and I'm like, I think I became popular because people are just starting to copy me for some reason. I don't know what's going on over here. So I think I became famous or something. I don't know, but someone was copying me on YouTube, and they were trying to have everyone click on the crypto mining malware, and we actually finally got it removed. It took over a month, by the way. This was not an easy process because they kept creating another account over and over again. So and obviously people were aware that wasn't me at some point. I'm like, you guys, this is not me. This is some random guy trying to be me. Don't click on that because I don't want you guys having an infection on your PC. I don't want your PC to get affected. So yes, this I am familiar with this. This has happened to me with people, and they thought that it was me, and it's not me. Because there are some people that know me, that know who I am, and they know that definitely that's not me. And then there's some people that follow me but don't personally know me, and they think that that's me. And I'm like, no, that's not me. That's some random guy. So that does happen a lot on social media. I'm not sure if you ever seen it, but like on social media, they do this on YouTube for crypto mining. They do it on Twitter as well for crypto
Mhm.
mining. So like if you become real popular and real famous, like if there's like a post that you created, for example, you created a post and that post is super popular, the person that is trying to get malware and trying to get crypto, trying to get all that information out there, he's literally gonna act like you, and it's not you. It's gonna behave like you and go to the comment section and be like, yeah, um, if you want free money, go over here, you know. And they do that a lot for some reason. So that does happen. So hopefully that answers your question. That does happen.
Yeah, again, it's more on the fact that they can reach so many people, right? Because let's say I don't know exactly how many I don't know, YouTube followers or any other connection or other social media you could have, but definitely if you have a a very big audience, it's uh, just so useful, right, for attackers. If they want to infect as many people as possible, definitely the best way to reach out to so many people and convince all of those people to click on a link or just download some executables is to try to get to your own audience. Or I'm saying to you, but of course anyone that has a very big audience out there, right? So it really makes sense. It's some kind of, again, stuff that we need to be aware of, especially as content creators, right? It's not my case. I don't have that big audience, or at least yet. But definitely, again, some way they can use your own face or just presence against you, right? um, making people fool just because they pretend to be you. It's very bad, right? Not that it's your own fault, but it happens, and it's gonna happen more and more, unfortunately. And most of the time you just can rely on this support from social media platforms in order to remove those accounts. But as you say, they can still create new ones. So we just have to be very careful, and take our eyes open to see those kind of stuff. And unfortunately, it can happen that some of your own followers have clicked on those links, have downloaded that kind of malware, right? And again, yeah, that's bad for sure, right? um, and the worst thing about cryptocurrency is that if your computer is infected, probably they are using most of your CPU or GPU power, right, to run the crypto miner thing. And maybe your computer is not that responsive anymore as it was before, right? So that's the worst thing that happens to you directly, because okay, maybe they are making money, but they are not really doing something worse. But if we again go back a little to the article, the thing is that what if the same malware is not really, or is not only doing the crypto mining, but can potentially do other things, right? Most of the time, or at least very recently, we see a lot of those malwares which are full of plugins. Basically, there are a lot of features into the malware itself. Not all of the features are being used, but potentially, the malware is already there. If someday the attacker decides to do something else with the same piece of software that is already installed in your infected machine, suddenly they can start, I don't know, collecting information or collecting credentials from your environment. And then things start to be worse than before. They're just not making money out of your own computer, but potentially they can again steal your identity with the information they can steal, or uh, steal your own accounts and use them to further spread the malware, maybe, or even bank accounts and everything, and actually directly steal your money instead of generating them out of computer power. So it's yeah, again, it's um, especially I'm not really into like um, malware analysis and stuff, but uh, you can read a lot of these articles where you see a lot of different kind of malwares. Okay, this is a spyware, or okay, this is a ransomware, okay, this is a crypto miner. But the reality is that they are so often evolving, changing. The same malware a few years before was something, and today you can see the same stuff that was updated to do a lot more, right? So you never know what what's inside those the things. So it's interesting to analyze, but definitely you can expect always more than what you read on the article. So yeah, just again, take your eyes open, I guess.
Mm-hmm. No, I 100% agree with you. It goes back again to education and social awareness, and just telling people like, listen, if you see this, this is not real. This is not me. If you see this, don't click on this. Like it goes back to that. Like, and I had this conversation with a CISO, and he told me the weakest link is our people, because they're not educated correctly. So when you're not educated correctly, it's just like, you're just gonna fall for anything. It doesn't really matter what it is. You're just gonna click on it anyway. That's just how it is. So
Yeah, that's true. Especially if you are, a CISO or some similar role, and you are in charge of all the company, security. Of course, you can get a little mad because at some point you spend a lot of money, or you did so much effort in protecting your company, and then suddenly the initial access for an attacker was just convincing some employees to run some software on their machines, right? Can be a little um, yeah, just stressful, let's say. But again, I'm not willing to say it's their fault, or it's we can try to educate them for sure, but there will always be the time where you're tired, or you're not really 100% there for any reason. Something happened, in your life or something, and it can happen. And that's when I still think about, okay, we need to protect, we need to prevent if possible, right? But we also need to know how to respond in case it happens, right? So if we take the same example you were saying before, okay, someone stole your identity and did an account with your face and your name on it. Okay, maybe you, let's say, or the social media platform wasn't able to prevent it, but at least you or your following noticed it, and you, I don't know, um, reached out to the support to make to make it be removed and everything. So knowing how to respond, and again, both in a company environment and your own let's say digital life, it's very very important, because we have to know, okay, that eventually it can happen to anyone, right? uh, Everyone can be a target, and everyone can be tired one day and fall for that phishing attack. I say this myself, right? I'm into cybersecurity, and I'm supposed to be a professional. Still, I'm a human, right? And
mm-hmm.
I myself can fall for that kind of stuff at specific moments, right? If anyone else says the opposite, okay, maybe you're a super human, good for you. I just I just say that it can happen. Maybe it's not very probable, but it can happen. Okay. So we have our very last article we can talk about today. It's slightly correlated with what we said before with the previous article, because we are still talking about cryptocurrency, and this is actually a fun story. Let me drink something. Okay. So again, a little introduction here. Um, if you ever read or watched anything talking about Bitcoin, you know that this cryptocurrency here, the first one actually, and probably the most famous one, it's actually pretty old right now, and it started that its own value was very very low, right? So few cents or something for each Bitcoin. Now we know that one Bitcoin is very very valuable. I'm not sure how much right now, but it started when a few people were starting to um, transfers, with the first transactions, a lot of Bitcoin, because they were not very valuable at the very beginning, right? So there's this person which eventually become pretty famous, called Stephen Thomas, right? That at some point collected in a single wallet. So bitcoins and other cryptocurrencies can be stored in a digital wallet, right? And you can make that digital wallet both software and hardware. The most secure thing is to store it in an hardware that is secured via a password and is encrypted, so that you can actually disconnect it from your computer and the internet, for example, right? And that's what this person Stefan did, right? And stored more than 7,000 bitcoins in this USB key that was protected via password. Now, the bad thing was that at some point he completely forgot about the password, okay, that he used for the USB key, and he had no backups, or at least I think it's described in the article that some way he deleted all of the backups that he had. So the only copy of the thing was in this USB key. That was actually a very a pretty good USB key, or encrypted USB key called it's a specific model called Iron Key S200, and basically it is designed so that you cannot fail the password more than 10 times. Otherwise, it will delete all the data inside automatically, right? So it's a very secure one. It's actually certified to be used in top secret and government environments. Okay, so it's a very high-end device. And the problem is that since this person forgot about the password, the value of Bitcoin raised and become completely crazy, right? At some point, those same Bitcoins in this wallet were worth something like $500 million, right? So uh, he was going to publicly ask on the internet and on multiple medias that he was willing to give money to people helping him to hack his own wallet, right? And decrypt the data so that he could regain his own bitcoins. Now, this is a very actually pretty old story. Not sure exactly when it was described the first time. Now, the news is about let's say a startup. There's the name somewhere. I think it's Unciphered, which basically knew that it's not just Stefan. A lot of people out there have encrypted wallets that they cannot restore because they forgot about the password or other kind of similar stuff. So their only goal is exactly that: find a way to hack into those hardware wallets to restore the cryptocurrency in them, and ask, of course, for a fee, right? To do that for all the people. Now, this little startup made a lot of effort into hacking that specific model, because they knew about Stefan's story, and they actually found a way to basically bypass the maximum amount of attempts that you can do to insert the password, right? We said that you can try 10 times, and if you fail all the 10 times, it's gonna delete itself. And the owner actually already attempted 8 out of 10 tries, right? So they actually find a way to bypass all of this process and try as many times as they want, so that in that way they can basically run a brute force attack. Basically, try as many combinations as possible until you actually find the correct one. And if you do that with a very, very powerful, system, or just maybe an infrastructure system that are very, very powerful, you can actually do billions or trillions of tries in few hours. And apparently they were able to decrypt those kind of models. They tried a couple of times, and they did it in few days. Okay, so they found a way. Now they were finally, ready to reach out to Stephens and ask, okay, we can help you with your wallet and regain your own bitcoins. Unfortunately, Stefan just said, "Oh, well, I'm not interested anymore," or at least, basically, he just explained that he is in contact with other people that are working on it, and is not willing to take any other agreements on the same arrangement. Now, this was the fun part, right? That some people did a lot of effort to find an exploit, right, or vulnerability in this kind of wallets, and eventually, apparently, it's not really usable, or maybe it is usable, but not for the person that they were willing to help, right? And yeah, I think this is interesting in a lot of different levels. Actually, the thing that you don't have to forget your own passwords, first of all. The thing that even the most secure device with the right amount of efforts and time still can be breached. Okay, no matter how secure it is. There is no such thing as 100% security. This is just something that everyone should know. And the thing that, because of money, in this case, Bitcoin, some people were able to reach a very high end and top secret level device. So that same startup, that same company actually has the keys to accept to access not only Stefan's bitcoins, but potentially, a lot of top secret data that are contained in similar, devices out there. Uh, this is actually one reason why they are not willing to actually say exactly how they did it, of course. But it's a lot to think about and to process actually. What do you have in your mind right now?
Yeah, for me, I'm familiar with Bitcoin. I know Bitcoin. I'm familiar with Coinbase too, actually. There are a lot of different companies, but I'm familiar with I'm definitely familiar with Bitcoin, and I know how it. I know that going changing the topic a little bit. I know that the currency for Bitcoin, by default, it's used in El Salvador. I'm not sure if you know that, but El Salvador,
Yeah.
their default currency is Bitcoin, and they're known for that, for having it. That's the first one of the, I guess, one of the first countries that actually has Bitcoin as the currency. Um, and
Mhm.
I'm familiar with Bitcoin because I used to have Bitcoin, so I know what it is. And yeah, so that's one thing. The other thing is, yeah, about just talk about flash drives a little bit. So when you have flash drives, like I know a few people that I work with. So I've been in. I'm not sure you're familiar with DEF CON, but I was in a cybersecurity conference event called DEF CON, and I talked to cybersecurity experts and people that work in cybersecurity, and a lot of them tell me, yeah, Kev. So as a social experiment, what we do is and this changes the topic a little bit, but it has to do with this a little bit. What we do is we actually leave flash drives on the floor, and I'm like, huh? What do you mean by that? Yeah, so we put flash drives on the floor on purpose. So we go around, we walk around different states, different areas, different countries, and we leave flash drives on the floor on purpose. Like, why do you do that? Oh yeah, because we want someone to just randomly pick up the flash drive, plug it in, and then we get access to the computer. So a lot of people that work cybersecurity, they tend to do that. They typically they have malicious intent, right? So they typically will leave a flash drive on the floor, and then when you plug it in, that's it. Bam, bam, boom, boom, boom. They have access to everything. So that's one thing. The other thing with going back to this is obviously, it's dangerous when you have we have a company like this that is able to unlock everything on the flash drive. That's very dangerous, by the way. That's not. I'm not gonna say that's normal. That's dangerous because who knows what they could do with your information? Who knows what they could do with that flash drive? And who knows what they could do with other flash drives, right? Especially you encrypt your own flash drive, right? So, kind of security stuff related to this, you get a little paranoid. because you don't know you don't know what they could do with your flash drive, right? So like for me specifically, me like if I know about a company like this, I would be afraid to encrypt any of my stuff. I would be like, oh, okay, so maybe they should be they'll probably be able to even if it takes 10 tries or 5 tries or whatever, they'll probably be able to figure it out. So this is another thing that scares me. And yeah, so just going back to this, it's very important that you know what your password is, but also it's very important that you just be careful with how you encrypt your data, and be careful with what you store in your data, and be careful with what you have in your flash, and also be careful with who you're working with, because you don't know
Mhm.
whether or not they have malicious intent. You just don't know, right? So you want to make sure that, and it goes back again to social engineering and social awareness. Like it goes back to like know who you're talking to, know who that person is, because you don't know what they're capable of doing, right? So I'm just gonna add that in there, and then that's it for me. So
Yeah, no, absolutely. And you said all things that are, that trigger into me other thoughts. And the first one is, not to make you even more paranoid, but I'm not really scared about this company specifically, right? But this company made, public the fact that they were able to do something like this with the, again, top level high end devices to store data securely. I'm 100% sure that right now this same company is receiving so many requests from other organizations out there to make this, for other purposes, right? For whatever purpose, I don't know. They can, of course, receive requests from their own government, and you can think about it to be legitimate or not, depending on who's or what is the target, right? But they can for sure receive requests even from, you know um, other governments, other agencies, other organizations that maybe can have different kind of reasons and goals and targets, right? Because this is a very, as you said, this is a very dangerous thing. Let's say that, okay, let's not talk about bitcoins here or some people, some random people, money, but what about some of this or a similar device, right? Is storing very, very important data about, something that is very important, that and that can, again, um, end up in, I don't want to say something very bad, but end up in very, very dangerous situations, right? It's very interesting. Like, it's still specified. The article is very good, by the way. Again, I'm gonna drop the link in the YouTube description, so have a look at that if you're interested. Because the same company, or at least the person behind it, he was saying that in order to do that, right, to hack the device, they collected a very high skilled team that was able to, reverse engineer the hardware behind the device and everything. They had to put a lot of work, a lot of time, a lot of very, expensive devices to run the research, and even to reach out to people that were involved into the developing of the device itself in the past. So it is very, very difficult, but you can see also how the potential results can be rewarding, right? For a company at least. So just to think how many and what kind of customers they can bring in right now, just with this article right here, it's definitely mind blowing, at least for me. And yeah, of course, maybe you don't have to be scared for, you as a person that are watching this episode, your own devices. I don't think that a company is willing to spend that kind of money and put all of that time and effort into break into your specific device, depending on what you have inside that device. But you know, if you are part of a security team protecting a company that has, I don't know, a very, very important, projects, designs, or if you work into the national defense and everything, you know that no matter how secure are your devices and your technology, if someone is very focused on reaching you, they potentially can do it, right? And again, we have to be aware of this kind of stuff, right? um yeah, there's a lot of other things right now, but we will never end talking if we start with that. um yeah, about bitcoins, I don't know, there's probably a lot of work that they could do, just continue offering that kind of service to people that locked themselves out of their own wallets, right? I also had some friends in the past that um you know told me similar stories. Like, they, at the very beginning of bitcoins, they took a bunch of them. I don't know, oh yeah, maybe I have some hundreds of bitcoins somewhere, but I don't know where. I don't know how to access them. I lost the hard drive somewhere. And what if they will start to read this kind of articles and they immediately reach out to the company? Oh, come on, I'm going to give you 1 million if you help me with my wallet. Unfortunately, I don't have anything like that, but definitely it's there's a lot of business for this company from now on, I think.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. No, I 100% agree with you. Yeah, that's just, yeah. We said earlier, yeah, they're not. If you're watching this, they're not gonna target you. You're. I'm not saying that you're not that important. I'm saying
Yeah,
that,
yeah, right.
yeah, I think I'm saying that they're not gonna target you because the way cybersecurity people work, the people that are like I'm talking about hackers, like they go after the big fish because they want the big money. That's just how it is with hackers. They go after the big people. And the other thing is that, and I'm gonna add it in this podcast because I added it in the other podcast. Like, if we talk about cybersecurity, people think of Mr. Robot, right? Mr. Robot. Like, you watch the Mr. Robot show, right, from Netflix, and it's like some of it is like that, some of it is not like that, right? It really depends, right? It depends. Like, it depends on your job, what job you have in cybersecurity, because cybersecurity is so big, right?
Mhm.
So you have the blue team, the red team, right? Purple team. You have so many different types of teams, right? And you have so many different types of roles. So um, you may not be involved with hacking or whatever. You may be involved with just collecting logs and doing documentation and collecting information, right? So it's just, it really depends where you work. But at the end of the day, and I'm gonna go back to this, at the end of the day, everyone, no matter who works in the company, whoever works in IT, doesn't matter if you're not IT or not, you are cybersecurity. Just letting you know.
Yeah.
Anyone here that's watching, any job you work, you are cybersecurity. You need to be aware of what's going on around you, and don't just click on random things. That's my 2 cents. That's it. That's all I'm gonna say. So.
That's actually so important, right? Again, going back to the very purpose behind the podcast itself. The point is that I'm definitely doing this kind of episodes. I'm definitely reading and talking about a lot of stuff that I actually do not do personally during work, right? I'm not into hardware hacking. I'm not into cryptocurrency. I don't know. I'm definitely not behind the investigation for violence as a service stuff. But the thing that I'm reading, that I'm discussing about it with so many people like you, Kevin, I think still enriches me as a professional, no matter what I do personally right now. Even because technically, what I do right now could be totally different to what I will do tomorrow, right? So cultivating everything, all my knowledge about all of the field, I think is still very, very useful. And it tells me a lot, at least on a cultural perspective. So yeah, again, this is just an excuse to have a global conversation with the guest, but also with all the people that are watching the episode, leaving comments. Please, by the way, just do that. We want to know your feedback. Just let me know whether I said something very, very wrong that I should correct myself, maybe, or that we could say something more that we didn't have time during the episode, because of course we have limited time. And there's so much behind all of the articles that we read and talk about. Maybe you are an expert in blockchain and cryptocurrency, and you can say a lot more than what we discussed today. If that's so, just let us know your point of view, or your opinion. It's definitely very, very important to me, and I think, again, it helps me to grow personally and professionally, and hopefully, can help someone else that is watching this as well. So that's it, Kevin. I think that's probably a wrap for our episode. I thank you so much for being my guest today. I enjoyed the conversation, and hopefully you as well. I could definitely reach out to you again at some point and bring you possibly to a new episode. So take a look at your inbox for that. And yeah, thank you very much, everyone, for having watched this.
Yeah,
Yeah.
thank you for having me. I appreciate it. I'm gonna bow my head because it's a Japanese thing that we do. I work for a Japanese company, so that they tend to bow their head
Okay.
as thank you. Harigato. Basically, yeah, thank you for having me. I appreciate you. And yeah, these articles are very interesting. It's very interesting how things work, and from a I guess from a news perspective. And yeah, we definitely need to bring more cybersecurity awareness, because it's like it's not really talked about. We talk about like the cybersecurity, people are aware of cybersecurity, but like we need to bring more awareness of that, because it's not really common, especially for social engineering and educating people. There's some people that and I'm going to go back to this again with social engineering and training. There's some people that they accidentally click on a phishing email. And this is why this is important, is knowing how to properly train your staff, because if they click on a phishing email and then they get the actual training for cybersecurity, a lot of people that do cybersecurity training, and I'm just letting you know right now, and I'm pretty sure you could agree with this with me, they do cybersecurity training, they watch a video and they click next, 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 next. They don't actually watch the actual training. So like if you have to actually, when talking about cybersecurity awareness training, like specifically training for cybersecurity, like you have to try to make it not boring for the audience or for the person that's taking the training, because they're just going to click next, 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 and they're going to learn anything. And they're just going to click on the same phishing email again. So what's the point of you providing training if they're not going to take the time to actually learn it? So it's very important. As I wanted to throw that out there in this conversation today. So.
No, that's very true, and thank you so much. Like you have to get people more involved and more interested in what you're telling them, right? It's not that easy, but we're trying. I'm doing my very little effort here. Hopefully, someone will watch this and at least learn a little bit more than than an hour before. So yeah, again, thank you so much, Kevin. Thank you for so much for everyone who was watching this. Consider just clicking that follow or subscribe button, sharing it with your friends, or just leaving a comment to let me know where I was wrong. And yeah, thank you again, and have a good day, good night, or whatever, depending on where you are. Bye bye. Thank you so much.
Yes.